A few seats up here in the front, and that might be about it. I'm gonna have to tell Patrick that we got a better turnout than when he's here. So, good evening. Welcome to the 2026 annual meeting for the HOA. This is going to be centered around mostly HOA items. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about and discuss here tonight that are pretty much solely focused on HOA because that's what this is about. The first thing I want to do is introduce some folks in the room. First, over here is Kirk Avery. Most of you probably know Kirk. Kirk's our sales manager. In the back is Bara. Bara is newly to the team, and I think an email was sent out on Bara earlier this week. We welcome him. He's our new resort director, helping Nurjan. Jeff Foster heads up our land development and entitlement effort. He's kind of all things that's in the weeds. Dan Kraus heads up our IT, and his son Daniel is here with him. And then Amber Tilley with Access, and she's our new lead property manager. So, Amber, can I officially start? We have a quorum? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Awesome. Well, I thought it'd be good if we started out with a little bit of background on the past 8 months. I think it's a lot has kind of gone on and changed, and so what happened? Well, November of last year, and some of you may know this, so I might be, repeating myself, but I'm gonna say it anyway. November of last year, John Gaskin, who was our land planner and land acquisitions manager, unfortunately had a pretty severe bout with cancer, and let the company know about mid-November, and approximately 45 days later, he passed away, and it was a pretty big loss to the PMC team. John handled a lot of different things. One of those things was HOAs, and the person that rolled up to John was Tammy Brinkley. Many of you probably know Tammy. Tammy, a few months after that, was unfortunately is no longer with the company, and she had the primary relationship with CMA and Sally Mooney. During this whole process, I and the PMC team was charged with, is CMA and the relationship with Sally the level that we expect PMC and Patrick Malloy Communities resorts and communities, is that service level the standard that we expect? And we decided as a team that we needed somebody else, somebody who could deliver financials on time, which is a huge component, somebody who could establish an institutional workflow process so that way we can get to architectural review requests in a matter of a few weeks rather than a few months. So those are some of the things that we felt is happening as we speak. There's a transition period that you've all kind of gone through in the last 60 days. It's been a pretty large and heavy lift, but I feel like we're on the other side of it. I was very pleased that I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna keep going on my agenda here. So number three, yeah, and I'll just say, I think over the past 45 days, really 60 days of working with Access, it has been everything that I could have hoped for in a relationship. They are very assertive, quick to answer on items. We're getting reports that we can actually analyze where we're at on year-to-date financials and so forth, and so it's been really helpful in that regard. One of the things that I really want to drive home the next 90 days is communication. So some of these housekeeping items, I think, and probably warrantable, I don't think anybody really knew who to contact or how to contact those people, and which people to contact, whether it was Nurjan, myself. I think it was a bit all over the board. And so we're making it a point right now that these questions, comments, concerns need to be filtered through the portal. They need to be filtered through the portal and through Amber's team. That's the only way, that's the best way and the only way to really provide everybody in this room and who's not here the right and correct response so that everybody gets it consistently and not changed over the course of several different outlets. So I think if we can try to do that, I know there's several people that have probably tried to reach out to me in the past 30 days, 45 days, and I made it a point to try to direct them or to try to change that line of communication through Amber and through the portal, because I think it's just the best for the community to operate. So if we could try to do that, I think we will do a better job of getting to architectural review requests. Those workflow items, we have 45 days to get to any architectural review request. We're trying to do that in 2 to 3 weeks. Several members of the PMC team are in here. An architectural review committee was established. We have a service committee that was established. We meet every other Tuesday at 8:30. And we review every request that comes in, and both from an architectural review perspective and from a service request perspective. And we try to address everything. There are some things that require more attention. For example, if you want to redo your drainage plan, and I'm going to give Lance a little shout out right now. Lance wanted to redo one of his drainage things. We went out there, met with Lance, walked it, and so those are going to take inevitably a little bit more time. But we're trying to get to things in 2 to 3 weeks. So I think I'll move on to financials. So very excited that this morning at 8 o'clock, Amber's accountant got us the 4:30 financials. And so I, admittedly so, haven't had a chance to fully go through them and really review them in detail, but nevertheless, I'm going to show you what we got. And so, I mean, the first page, and I know this is a little bit small, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. This is the balance sheet. So, balance sheet, cash, funds with CMA, which are still in the transition period. So, what is this saying? Well, this is saying that currently we have $252,000 in cash in the HOA, and roughly about another $230,000 or so on its way from CMA. They're cleaning up some things that are payments that are getting filtered through and so forth. And then the liabilities are just prepaid HOA deposits. So anyways, about $450,000 in the account, give or take. I didn't really have a basis for making, and we didn't really have a basis for making any decision from a money standpoint, other than a little bit of a gut feel on whether we should do it or not. Now I feel like we can make very informed decisions on what we need to do in the community and what needs to wait until the next quarter and so forth, which is, it puts us in a position of strength rather than kind of being on our heels, which is helpful. So this is the balance sheet. Next, what I've stressed in our contract with Access is a year-to-date income statement and a current period income statement with actuals, budgeted, and variance, and an annual budget at the end. So this is all available to you guys in the portal. You guys can review it, and I'm sure I'll have a host of questions and comments about that we'll just work through together. Because I think you guys are feeling it and seeing it daily, and so the more comments and questions we get from you guys, the more refined this will get. So one year to date, which I think is the column I focus on the most. It helps us see where we're at, how much we spent through the month of April. And then, so here's, regular assessments. This is just HOA dues. This is what we budgeted for this year, $1.8 million, which is effectively all of the homeowners in the subdivision today, but also projected closings to come this year. So it's taken into a little bit of a forecast, which, as we all know, forecasts are always wrong. So, we'll continue to monitor that, but we think we're on a pretty good path, as indicated by the variance being in the positive and not a negative year to date, which is good. The other thing I want to point out is the developer, PMC, has in past years always funded a contribution to the HOA for any deficit. So, and it's been happening, Kirk, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been happening since Belmont's existence, since day one, that we've had to fund a developer contribution. Year to date, no contribution, which is positive, and we're still ahead of budget on the income. So that is all good news. Now again, we need to dig in and review these and make sure we're kind of all accounted for, but that's positive news so far. This I'm not going to get into I just wanted to show you the level of detail. I'm going to go, no. I just wanted to show you the level of detail that we're getting into on the expenses. And I did this on purpose so that I could get a laugh in the room, because I appreciate the level of line item accounting that's happening in Belmont. It helps us in every utility, every kitchen item, pretty much any landscape, anything you can think of is line itemed, and so we can budget for that, and it's helpful. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, this is the end of the expense column, so without going through each line item, we are actual 518 in expenses spent to date and budgeted for about 857,000, which leaves us at a variance of about 338,000. That paired with our income puts us at year to date up 237,000. So, like I said, we will do a very specific review of each line item, and now we can look at what needs to be done in pickleball, what needs to be done in bocce, what needs to be done in the coffee shop, what needs to be done throughout the community, and make real good assessments and improve some things that need to be done, and kind of get our flow now. And we'll review this on an on a monthly basis as we get financials from Amber's team. So one of the questions that came in, and we took questions up until end of April or so, and I'm going to address each question as we kind of work through this. But one of the questions that came in was, there's $10,000 in the budget for court maintenance. When can we expect that this be utilized? I think it's important to clarify that the $10,000 is for all outdoor sports. So I think the line item was tennis, pickleball, repairs and maintenance. There's more happening, bocce, for example. And so one of the things that we're pleased to let you all know, and the HOA board and the HOA is going to put forth, is a new AED located closer to the pickleball courts, which I think is an important addition. We're going to establish wood frames all around the bocce courts. And then the other thing is we're going to anchor bocce stands on the four corners of the pickleball, or of the bocce courts. We are still working closely with leaders of each respective club on other enhancements. For example, lighting, awnings, more additional seating. All of that takes more time and more permits from the county. So it's certainly on our radar, and now that we can see the capital that's needed, it's certainly within play, but we're not committing to it at this point. So, I think a lot of this will line up nicely with the addition of our new courts, assuming all is approved with phase 6 and we were able to do that financially. I think that there's a potential to have additional bocce courts over there also. And so we're putting all of that in play. And so that's pretty exciting. The benches on the pickleball courts are going to remain in place. I know that was a question out there. Okay, so another thing that's been happening is surveys. So why do we do surveys? Well, we get a lot of questions and comments that come in that we've never even thought may be a consideration in the community. And we want to poll everyone to see how important it is to the folks in this room. And we want to address the majority, but we also want to address those folks that are really passionate. And what I would say, passionate, but maybe a smaller group, what I would say there is establish social committees, establish a social club, and if you feel like it's that important, I think we need to do a better job of potentially raising money via that club so that way we can do some things. So some of the things that are on that list of surveys are installation of a lending library at the clubhouse. So these are going to be survey items on the next survey. Installation of a roped off swimming lane at the pool. Installation of a Veterans Memorial flagpole and ceremonial flag display at the clubhouse. And installation of an American flag retirement drop box to be installed in the resort clubhouse mailroom. So those are some things that you'll see coming. And like I said, it's just helpful to get good feedback on those from everybody, because we got to know what's important, what we're spending our money on. Okay, one of the things that came in was outside trim. So outside trim many homes are having outside trim repainted by PMC due to the builder using indoor paint for outside use. How will other residents identify if we have the same issues and need rework done by PMC? Okay, so first, the builder did not use indoor paint for outdoor use. The proper exterior paint was used, but the primer had a failure on the trim material. Okay, so that is what happened. It happened to about 90 homes, and 21 of them have already been worked on and fixed, and the delta has been reviewed, and there doesn't seem to be any issues at this point. So if anybody else has questions or comments, you need to go through warranty. Again, I'm getting a little bit outside the box here because it's an HOA meeting, but you need to go to the warranty through the builder. Public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi access in the clubhouse has been on the list of improvements since opening. Any updates? Yes, updates. There is public Wi-Fi access in the clubhouse and all areas around the pool. Amber's team sent out an email on April 27th, and you can see the Wi-Fi domain and password in that email. Pest control. Is the pest control that was offered by the developer going to continue beyond the first year? It is not going to continue beyond the first year, but each resident is given the opportunity to extend that pest control program on their own. So, let's see. What else? Okay. All right, now the fun topics. Zoning modification to the Henry Scott Road entrance. Okay, so why did PMC submit this modification? Okay, we submitted this modification for one, we believed giving residents a second entrance was and is extremely important during the construction of Highway 20. Second, PMC spent a lot of money on that entrance, and we want it to be put to use. And the third thing was, it was evident that with the addition of phase 6, we were going to need a second entrance. Okay, so we submitted it. What did we know prior to submission? We knew that we stood a very minimal chance, if a chance at all, of getting that approved. And that is because there was commitments made from folks, county reps, to folks that live on Henry Scott, and it wasn't going to happen. And so what happened? We submitted the modification, I think it was in March, April. We delayed it 30 days because our first meeting did not go well. We went in for another meeting with the county. That one went worse. In fact, one of the reps came in and said, Jeff, I don't know if we can repeat it, but basically what he said was, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, that's what happened. And so I delayed it another 120 days, as I'm sure many of you saw, and then we withdrew it because we were teetering the line of irreparable damage with our relationship with the county, which was going to degrade all the things that we're trying to do within Belmont, and we weren't going to go down that path. So that's unfortunate, but that's kind of where that one sits. Okay, so another comment that came in is the underbrush cleanup. Are there any plans to clean up the underbrush, tidy up, if you will, the areas to the right of Soleil Boulevard as you leave Soleil from Brookview Lane all the way to the front entrance? Down trees, overgrown brush, and general unsightly areas. Okay, so Jeff put together this cool little imagery here. So this is Soleil Boulevard all the way back to the resort. This is 4B. And this section, which is just beyond the guard gate, along this side of, I guess that would be the eastern side of Soleil Boulevard. Western side, thank you. Western side of Soleil Boulevard. That's the area that we're talking about here. That, in this image, as you can see, and it's a little bit challenging to see in this image, but the hatched out area along Soleil Boulevard to the west, which is probably 100 feet, give or take?
Wide?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 120 feet in some spots.
So 120 feet in some spots, you know, on average probably 75 feet or so. That is all trees save area. So we don't have the right to go in there and do anything with that area. Now, what we are going to do is contact the county arborist and see if there's anything that we can do to clean up some, you know, underbrush, and whatever we can do, we will do. But as it sits right now, that's why that area looks like it does, is because that's in the conservation part of the zoning as a tree save area. Okay. Entrance and exit gates. Can we have the gates exiting the development operational at the gatehouse during the day? Yes, I'm not exactly sure why they're not operational. So we are going to get with the security team. One answer I was given is it's more safe to have people go out of the subdivision. But I don't, man, you know, I don't know about that. So we're going to discuss it with our security team and get that gate moving up and down. I will caution all of you that cruise out of there when it's down. Be mindful. Yeah, one car at a time. Which is why our entrance gate was down there for a couple days, is because we tried to have 2 cars go in at one time. Okay, moving on. What is happening at the front entrance? Well, this is our latest rendering of the entrance monument at Belmont Park. We have gone through several renditions, and if you're looking at the entrance on the left side, about 80 feet back it's going to be, because that's how far the DOT is going to clear that area. There will be this sign, which is, it's a monster. It's 9 feet tall. It's going to be 33 feet wide, and you're going to be like, I'm at Belmont, which is exactly what Patrick and the team wanted. You know, we put the letters on there as big as we possibly could and use all of the copy space we possibly could. And on this plan, which is a little bit, this is Soleil Boulevard, right up here, going up and down. On the left side, here's where the entrance monument's going to be. It's going to be like a little bit of a half moon type of shape. And then as you work your way back on Soleil Boulevard, on the right side, that's where that pillar is going to be. And this is all DOT area, which is why we don't have a monument on this side. We're working on an easement to potentially put a monument on that side, but that looks unlikely. So we're gonna have a pillar that kind of says, you're in Soleil now. This little half curve to the left is where you likely enter the commercial piece. And so we're trying to separate the commercial piece from the residential piece by a little monumentation that says that you're not in Belmont Park commercial, you're in Soleil. So I think that is, what's the timing on that? The timing on that is probably midsummer, which is when we'll get the construction permit. We are going back and forth with DOT and their timing to make sure, because they need to clear before we can clear. So there's a little bit of a time lag on that. That was all that was submitted. I'm happy to open up the floor and answer any questions. Obviously, based upon what I said initially, it's going to be, I want to answer questions through the portal so that way we can address everybody in the room, but everybody feels like they're in the room. So go for it.
Will the state DOT be using the driveway entrance that we are using when they're exiting?
The question is, will the DOT be using the same entrance that we'll be using? And the answer is likely. They will be. There is, I guess, they're modifying the entrance on Old Ball Ground Road, which is the road to the west. And so there'll be some action and movement on that side as well.
When do you plan to start the restaurants and all that part? Okay,
Thank
he
you.
originally said he thought maybe April. So
Thank you.
I'm curious.
I skipped over my last sentence here, not on purpose. We are going to reserve further discussion regarding the commercial property for our next meeting. However, it is important to note that we have 2 years from March 3rd, 2026. So by March 3rd, 2028, we have to have C of O. Otherwise, we lose the permit. So we are, it's what we talk about a lot, because we're on a, and it's tough to get a building in there in that time frame. And C of O, which means it's got to be, occupied or can be occupied. So that gives you some time frame as to what we got. Go ahead.
The lighting coming into the subdivision, well, the new sign that brings more lighting, because it's so dark right now when you come in.
Yeah, so all of the electrical at the front gate has been discontinued effectively. We're going to dump, or are dumping, quite a bit of money into solar lights to at least get something out there. And then the new monumentation, of course, will have light, for sure.
We're gonna have to wait until the DOT gets pretty far down the road until we can put up any additional lighting. So for a while, it's going to be solar lighting, whatever we can fit in there, that the DOT doesn't take down. That's what we're kind of afraid of, is whatever we put up may be removed.
So we're going to be in a little bit of a 10-round bout here with DOT, which is fine. Yes. That's our goal. That's the goal. Say it again. That's a fair point. Our thought on that was, we didn't want it to happen twice. We didn't want it to be where a DOT created a mess at the front entrance and then PMC comes right behind him and creates another mess for 2 years. We want it to be one mess, one time, and that's why we got to get in there and get after it on the commercial side, because we want it to be done when the DOT's done and be over with, so that we don't have any additional noise. Go ahead.
What can you tell us about the 125 houses that will be built and possibly reached by way of Brookview Drive?
Yes, so we are submitting the application for rezoning. I believe it's maybe in 2 weeks or so. There's a public hearing next week at Freehome Fire Station. If anybody wants to join, it's next week, Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. I'm sure some of you have gotten letters in the room, maybe all of you. about that. We are, with that, there will 95%, if it gets approved, chance that there will be an exit on the Highway 20 via Phase 6. So there will be another exit out of the community. Now, the reason why I'm hesitating is because that needs to get approved by DOT also, but the county probably will not let us go ahead with Phase 6 if we don't have another entrance, which is why we were so focused on the back entrance for that period of time until that got turned down and then we diverted to Highway 20.
Utilize Brookview Drive?
Say it again.
If this other exit, will you still utilize Brookview Drive to get to this section?
You don't have to. You'll be able to enter and exit off of that road, which would be our desire is that everybody in this room uses Soleil Boulevard. That is what we would like. That's captive, and I know captive is maybe not the best word, but I think one decompression zone that everybody drives down is the goal, but there's also a huge safety concern there. And so we are gonna play down that entrance as much as possible, but establish gates that'll just be arm driven. There won't be anybody manned there. And you'll be able to enter off of that. So
So it won't be guard gated.
it won't be guard gated.
Come in from 20 and just utilize our community.
Yes.
I don't think you
It'll be gated. It'll be gated, like arm gated, but you'll need the fob.
walk around. I don't think our community is gonna. They'd have free access to our community.
Yeah.
Is anyone like that at the edge?
We don't particularly like it either. So.
We're gonna have to have them be access to feel safe.
Go ahead.
Are there plans to expand the resort to accommodate all these extra people?
So the resort, we based our resort upon a ratio, and the ratio is 17 to 1. So for every, and what is 17? 17 is the number of square feet, or is it the number of residents? Square feet per resident. So 17 is the number of square feet per resident. 17 is higher. Toll Brothers is at 14. So 17 is higher than your average ratio of people or homes to amenity square footage or resort square footage. That is sized for 605 home sites. If we get Phase 6 approved, that'll be 597 home sites. So we feel like we've oversized the resort as it stands today, but we've sized it appropriately for the number of users. Now, we are doing things for pickleball and bocce, hopefully, and some other things that'll help ease those concerns, but nothing on the structure itself. Good.
So the rumor about Phase 7 is
Not happening.
what?
Oh, sorry. There's rumors about a Phase 7, and it's just. Yeah, so Phase 5, which is the one that's active, that has A, B, C, D, and E subphases, which will take you all the way to the back, and then Phase 6, and that'll be it. That we're already having to do regional impact studies and everything else. So, good.
Yeah, you mentioned the underbrush,
Yes.
our property would probably benefit from that. When will you decide what you guys are planning to do?
You're saying that your property probably benefits from the underbrush? That's interesting.
Well, I'm in
You can go back to that one slide.
Yep. This one. You're somewhere on this side?
Yeah, that strip, that cul-de-sac down at the bottom, where they're talking about cleaning up down on that last cul-de-sac at the bottom. Or is it?
Right now, I just want to reiterate, we can't do anything. So-
Any section within that red, is what you're saying.
Any section, this red section is just blown up,
Okay.
and so this hatched area, and I should be doing it on with this thing.
Yes.
This hatched area is the area that we cannot disturb.
Okay, but what about down at the bottom of that cul-de-sac, the very bottom?
That's all hatched. That's all hatched area. So it wraps around,
All of that?
and we
attached.
cannot touch that. Go ahead.
I have a financial question.
Yep.
Are there any planned projected HOA increases this year, next fiscal, and if so, what are they? And then second question, are there plans to start funding the reserves?
Oh, yes. God, that's a great question. Okay, so I don't know how to avoid your first one, but right now, no. Oh, okay, so, I'm sorry. I'll do a better job at that. The question is, are there any anticipated increases to the HOA dues? And when do you anticipate start funding the reserves? So the first question, there are no anticipated ones at this time. But I think we are trying to get some ideas out there that help the entirety of the community. And so I don't even want to get into it because the answer is no. And just this year, which is all I can really project out at this time. I think we'll do a better job probably in the next quarter of being able to understand what it's going to take. But to be honest, we're running a surplus with the addition of phase 6. So I feel like we're in a pretty good position to not make a lot of adjustments there, you know? Now, if we don't get approved on phase 6, I feel like we're going to have to reassess, you know, that situation. So, and the second part of your question is, what happened to the transfer of the reserves? Okay, so we have, with the help of Amber's team, we have an annual budget of reserves transferring to the reserves of $210,000. You can see that year-to-date budget, which is a third of $210,000, we should be at $70,000. Right now we're at $17,500. Well, that's not very good. It's because the first month that Access was here, they transferred $17,500. The first 3 months of the year, we didn't transfer anything. So we're going to probably catch up and make that a reoccurring monthly event. And previous years, I don't believe there was anything. Because it was almost creating its own problem, right? Because we're as a developer, we're funding the deficit. So, you know, if we transferring from reserves, then we're almost increasing the deficit even further. So
where did that money go? Is it on the balance sheet?
the reserves, yes. Yes. Let's see. Back. Reserves. Balance sheet. Income statement. Reserves. Yes. Yes. Money market reserve fund. That's with the prior management. The 19.5 is likely going to be the reserve. So this is there's kind of two entries here. One in cash, that's with Access. The ones outlined in Western Alliance WAB, which is just where the bank accounts are. So Western Alliance Bank is what that means. And these are with the prior management company that we're getting over to Access, probably in the next 30 days. I've been skipping over her, and then I'll come to you.
What's the annual funding for that line?
The annual funding for the reserve line? $210,000.
So that will go on for the next 5 years or something?
Yes, probably indefinitely. Yep. Sorry.
You mentioned getting a hold of the warranty department. Have you ever tried to get a hold of the warranty department?
Now you guys heard that just fine. The comment there was, have I ever tried to get in contact with the warranty folks from our team?
I've been here 4 years in September, and I still have a broken window in the front. I would pay you $200 for your favorite charity, just walk around my house. $455, because my builder Philip left in the middle, and I was in Florida.
Mhm.
And I got back, nothing had been done. Then I got a letter saying I was closing in 3 days. So I went to the house. Jeff asked me to come alone, because I am alone. I'm not single. And then when 30 days, I said, the finance company called the carpet company. I said, I have a broken window. Finally, after a year, he put a drain in. After 1 year of showing what. So I need some help.
Okay. Pamela, what's your last name?
Server.
Server? Pamela Server.
Yeah.
Jeff, on our radar.
And
Okay.
I need,
Yes.
today was a prime example. He was to be here sometime between around 11 and.
Who's he?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Okay. How about this? Can I speak with you both after and make sure?
That was great.
Yeah. Okay. Boom, 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 and then boom.
So let's go back to the front end.
Okay.
Both John and Patrick have written to us about assisting us with some type of help in traffic situation that's what prompted the back gate.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're saying you're not going to move forward at all with that, if I understand you correctly.
That's correct.
So what is your plan to assist us when we're going to have construction from GDOT, construction from the commercial concern, the northeast side starting to ramp up, and if you can improve the new section starting to volume of traffic where you're coming in with all of us trying to get on 220 to get out of our neighborhood.
So the overarching question there is, with everything that's going on both at the front entrance and all along Highway 20, the addition of Phase 6, how are we going to make sure that it's safe for everybody? Safe for everybody in the room to exit and enter. And I can tell you that with the entrance of with the addition of Phase 6, we are having to do a DRI, a Development of Regional Impact study, and it includes traffic studies and all sorts of different things that are exactly addressing your concerns. So my answer today is I don't have a great answer for you. But we're doing all the studies that hopefully elicit some type of response from GDOT that we can act on and help that situation out.
GDOT told us that they are not going to provide anything.
They're not. In fact, I'm not even going to go there. Okay.
I have two short things. One, I'm on the same board with Pam Solo. We have been trying for years to get one last thing on our 30-day walk taken care of, and we keep getting blown off.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you, and we never hear anything. And unfortunately, I've spoken to several neighbors, I mean, I'm talking 10, 15, that got so frustrated with that, they just ended up fixing it themselves. Paying somebody to fix it themselves, whatever their problem was. I'm not doing that. So, something has to be done about this warranty department, because they don't get back to people, they blow you off, and I'm talking 2.5 years now, and this was on my 30-day walk. So, I'm just so frustrated about that too, so that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to ask is, on the screen that you showed, that of the area they're talking about clearing out, on the main street, can you show us, or me at least, where the Phase 6 is going to connect with our neighborhood?
I don't think it's on this map, but I'll see.
So where
Oh, it
is
is.
Phase 6 going to connect into our neighborhood?
Right here.
Okay.
And there's a long road that connects, and then this is where the real, houses are going to go, probably somewhere over here.
Brookview Drive is supposed to be a cul-de-sac, and when we purchased our lot, that's how we purchased it. We were on a cul-de-sac street, and there's a bridge to that.
And I'm not trying to defer your question, which is Brookview Drive, the folks that live on Brookview Drive, we're anticipating it being a cul-de-sac. What happens with the approval of Phase 6? and that's a very reasonable thing to bring up. I think we got a long way to go on the approval, and so I would say we're willing to address those things, and I'll get with Kirk but I mean we aren't going to know until October that that's even approved. So if it's not approved, then it's almost anything I say right now is not going to matter. So I'm going to go here and then you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people in here that are hard of hearing for some reason. Maybe a little age. The next meeting, have a mic in the audience so we can all hear the questions.
You bet.
I think I only heard a few of them.
Okay.
Number 2 is Brookfield Drive. The subdivision was a beautiful design, entranceway, traffic, everybody has a cul-de-sac. But now you want to change one and make that a non-cul-de-sac and make that an entranceway. Those people that bought there, me being one, now are really getting with a lot, 125 cars of traffic back and forth.
Yep.
I hope that you have to put a road somewhere else out.
So the first comment was, the next time we have a meeting, can we have a microphone in the audience? So that way everybody can hear everything.
That's easy.
We'll do that. The second thing is similar to the comment that just came up there, which was, this was meant to be a cul-de-sac. There's a lot of cul-de-sacs. It was a beautiful design. Why are we changing it? So I hear you.
You gotta have some kind of compensation for it.
Yeah.
The value of those homes is gonna be the lowest in the whole subdivision.
Okay, so we'll take maybe 2 more questions right here.
JW, if I may, first off, just a general comment, please take it as constructive criticism. I've been in Soleil since August of 2022, and I kind of echo what I hear about the warranty department. I believe their modus operandi is deny and wait and see if we're going to be deposed, and it really just sets bad with a lot of people, myself included.
Okay.
The question I've got is, and I'm no expert on the budget, but at one time the budget showed a line item of builder contribution.
Mm-hmm.
That
Still
was
does.
later changed to builder loan. Is there such a thing as a builder loan where people may end up owing the developer, PMC, Patrick Malloy, or whoever it is, money when all this is over? And is that reflected in a line item in the budget?
Good question. So the first thing that was brought up was similar warranty item concerns, and echoing a lot of the similar concerns in the room. The other thing was, in the past and maybe currently, there was a line item in the budget that said developer loan or developer contribution. Those are, correct me if I'm wrong, but synonymous. I think they're similar. Here you go.
So basically, I'm not the professional in this exactly, but I can tell you based on my knowledge, the developer loan is on there. If something more comes of needs of the community or things of that nature where they absolutely have to use additional funds, most of the time, I've never personally seen any developer loan actually be collected. What that will be is called a promissory note. You probably have heard of something like that, right? So the promissory note will be signed by the builders to release that loan, and it'll remove it from the budget. That liability will be gone at that point, but that's after it turns over to the HOA from the builder.
So I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Are you saying that at the end of all, there will be no such thing as a builder loan, or a builder, builder got to be repaid for a line item, that it just automatically goes away?
So the way that I've been told this is there's going to be a lot of things probably at the end of when we're turning over the HOA, road improvements, etc. And you come to an agreement with the homeowners where it's kind of a swap. You guys take on the road improvements, we forgive the debt, and carry on. And so I think that's what happened at Laurel Canyon. That's pretty standard practice.
Excuse me, but if we were to owe you money, there should be a line on the balance sheet that said that we owe you money. As far as this account is concerned, there's no loan. That everything you've contributed has been expensed, therefore it's done.
Oops. So right here, developer.
That's the income statement.
That I understand.
It will be listed on.
It will be listed on there.
But
There.
you can't make, but then going forward, you go back and change it. Because then it doesn't be counting on.
Well, I understand what you're saying. When we make the contribution, it will create a liability on the balance sheet.
No, you're giving cash
Yeah.
to us, which means that we increase our cash and you're crediting income. To get the liability, you have to make another side of the entry. Two sides to each entry. Where's the other side?
I hear you. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. If I understood it correctly, you said, beginning of financials, that you had a projected income that included homes that are planned to close later in the year?
Yes.
Did you also include in the expense line the additional expenses associated with that?
That's correct.
That's in the budget.
We did.
Sure. That's on the budget, that's not in the income statement.
Say it again.
That's on the budgetary statement, not
So I think the question initially was on the projections on both the income and the expenses, what's actually happening, what are we actually projecting? And so nothing to do with these financial statements on the screen, but what's happening in the future. And the question is at the same time we're projecting future home closings as income, are we projecting future expenses? And the answer to that is yes. Go ahead.
According to the county ordinances, any development that has more than 150 lots has to have at least 2 entrances.
We did.
And I know that there was a waiver given to a few houses on Henry Scott Boulevard so that they would not be impacted by this development by Soleil. We've got a lot more than 150 lots. I could see them giving a waiver if it was 160 or 180, but 600 lots with a community of over 55 residents with one way in and one way out, with an ambulance that might need to get through when there's a mudslide or a tree down or whatever, it seems to be a very dangerous situation. Now, if you do not get the approval from the city council, from the county commission to add these 125 homes with a second entrance, what do you plan to do about a second entrance that would have the least impact on the residents? I've seen some notes on Facebook and other places that the people that live on North Side don't want to have 1,200 cars going in and out. And we all know that the majority of us will always use the front entrance. And there's not going to be 1,200 people that are going to drive from Southland Circle to the back entrance to leave on a regular basis. It would just be a way to come in and go out. But if you don't get that approval for a second entrance on 20, what do you plan to do about it? Because this is a dangerous situation. When we met with the DOT, they told us that they did not want to have a lot of traffic lights on 20. They were kind of trying to mirror the old proposal that they had years ago for a second perimeter around Atlanta. And they wanted fewer lights. And what they didn't take into consideration was that we are probably the only huge community of seniors on the whole stretch of 20 between Forsyth and 575 that has this many residents without a traffic light and with only one way to enter and exit.
So
It just seems to be that somebody, and we did have a fatality, so it just seems like this is an accident waiting to happen and a dangerous situation. Even if you do get the second exit off of Brookview, that exit will be sharing part way on Soleil Boulevard. So if Soleil Boulevard is blocked in a certain area, that second exit off of Brookview probably won't even help us to have a second way to enter and exit.
So to sum up, the number of existing planned homes is 471 homes. Why do you have only one entrance? And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but technically 2 entrances, one for emergency only, and the other reason is that they consider Soleil Boulevard a double loaded road. And so that helps. Now, when they've assessed the phase 6 coming online, they looked at the 4B connection and all the homes on 4B, along with the 125 homes, put us over the another entrance. And so that's why we have another entrance on Highway 20 coming, hopefully. They also said that anything north of Highway 20 is a development rural area, which means that if you have a neighborhood of over 400, both with constructed homes, we have about 300 constructed homes, plus what's new in the phase, 425, you need a DRI. And so you need a development, regional impact study, traffic study, the whole gamut, because of the size of the community. So I know that doesn't totally address your question, but if we don't get approved, then we're not going to proceed with phase 6, which means the community is the community.
The commissioners who told you no way, are they up for re-election?
The question was, the county representatives, commissioners or otherwise, are they up for re-election?
Supposedly, it's going to need a lot of work up and down that side road to make it accessible to fire departments, ambulance traffic, whatever.
Like $1 million. Yeah, Henry Scott Road is not in good condition, and I think it's well over $1 million of proffered money that would have to be done. Well, that's just for a certain period, it's probably farther than that and larger than that. So I'll take one more question and then we're going to wrap up.
The tax, the property tax is up for review. I think it's April.
Yes.
Any update on that?
So good question. So the question was, any update on the Cherokee County tax exemption? And I went down to the Capitol and met with several representatives from Cherokee County that are in the district, and was met with major opposition. And the reason that they gave me, which I don't know if I agree with or not, was they want folks moving from within Cherokee County to Cherokee County. And they, without getting too politically dynamic on this, they didn't want folks from other states or political areas to be impacting Cherokee County. So that was the reason for the initial 5-year, because they wanted people within Cherokee County to stay within Cherokee County. And they didn't, I'm just relaying. That doesn't mean we're giving up. So we, obviously the 2024, 2025 session, 25, 26 session is over, but there's still a lot of work that we can do between now and October when it really starts ramping up again, which we're gonna do. So we're not giving up on that. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you very much.